Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Balance and Sanity with your girl Monica. It's been so long since we last spoke or the last time you heard my voice. So much has happened. Happy New Year to everyone. Long overdue. Just gonna keep this episode really short, as I just wanted to do an update, I guess, on what's been happening to me, health, life, dating, all the regulars. So yeah, I hope you like the show. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. Now to the show. Hey everyone, it's Monica coming to you from the Bronx, I guess. Just wanted to give you guys, to give you pretty much an update of what's been happening with me as far as my health. As you know, for those that have been listening since the start of this podcast, I have lupus. I'm not dying. I'm not going to die. It's not serious. It just means, I got to take the extra steps to just stay healthy. So like most people who get to eat anything they want, I can't necessarily do that because I can, one, have a flare up, or two, it could send me into bad results as far as my testing goes. That's all it really means. So the last time we spoke, I have had several episodes. There was a couple of times that I was just swollen everywhere. My legs were swollen. It was like 3 times its original size. There has been a couple of times when my face has been swollen. Couldn't get out of bed. My joints have been aching. But I just want to tell you that I've come a long way. Things have definitely been looking up. So let's start from the beginning. What is lupus? Some of you may know, some of you may not know, but what it is, it's unlike every other disease out there. This particular type of autoimmune disease is your body fighting against your body. So for me, that means that so on the insides is where my lupus attacks, because you can have lupus where if you're out in the sun you can get blisters on your skin from the sunlight, and then you have another form of lupus where it attacks your organs. So for me, my particular type of lupus attacks my kidneys and my joints. So anytime I have like a flare up, my joints hurt. Anytime I'm having any type of testing that I'm getting done is always just to make sure my kidneys are functioning. And so that is considered, I think they said I have SLE system. I'm not even going to try to finagle what that even means. But it just means that my body sees my kidneys as a foreign object. Or just think about like when your body has a cold and your body's trying to fight off that cold to make you better. That's what's happening with me every single day. My body is fighting off my kidneys because it thinks it's something that's bad that's coming to do harm. So it's trying to get rid of it. So that's just a simplistic way of trying to explain that. So what else? So that's one form of lupus I have. Then there's another form that I also have, which is called discoid lupus. And that one is where little dots appear on my scalp, and I get little indentations in my scalp where there could potentially be hair loss, and hair loss in the sense that it may or may not grow back. So I have like a couple of those, but since I've changed my eating habits, it's definitely lessened. As far as like my discoid lupus, my flare-ups have definitely lessened as well. The swelling is still terrible, to the point now where my legs get swollen so bad that no matter what jeans I wear, even if it's really baggy, you can still see the swelling through the jeans. So it's definitely something that I constantly have to just pay attention to and make sure that I am mentally able to withstand everything that I'm going through, because it is a lot to one day be absolutely healthy, being the best of your life. as far as energy comes along. Like, I've always been anemic. I've had to take pills when I was a child, and then I've always just been borderline anemic. So much so that the doctor said, maybe it's just hereditary, because no matter what they did, it would never get up to the standard rate of, for regular people. And so even thinking about that, my iron used to be at an 11 point something, which is like right at the cusp, because I think for you to not be anemic, you have to be 12. So I was always like 11 something. Since getting sick, it's gone down as far as a 7.2, which means, for most people, if you don't know, that means that you're always tired. Like, sleepiness is your best friend. Like, you're always fatigued, sluggish, can barely do anything. And I never noticed it because I've always been anemic. So anemia has been my best friend. So I've always been tired, always been fatigued. So when it hit me and they said your labs are 7.2, which is definitely bad, we need to get you on medication. You need to go see, I'm just going to call her the blood doctor because I can't even think of the real name for that person. I didn't think anything of it. And then, so yeah, back to what I was really saying. So to go from being at your optimal health, where doctors are saying, "Oh my gosh, your heartbeat is beating so slow. Is everything okay?" Trying to do EKGs just to make sure that nothing is wrong. I have no heart murmurs, and saying, "Oh, you have a runner's heart," to now being at the point where walking from the corner makes me tired. Like, I'm out of breath, can barely move, can't do anything. It's ridiculous. So, people are always checking in on me to see if my mental health is good, because that can take a toll on somebody and definitely put them into a place of depression or, I don't know, a whole bunch of things. But thankfully, I went through all my stages in the very beginning of year 1 when I got diagnosed. So now I just know, or I've accepted, that this is God's plan and there's a reason for this. It could just be him telling me, like, you need to get your act together. Like, you had all these times to play around, and you were trying to do this eating healthy, and you know how good it is for you, and all of a sudden you're slipping and sliding, and you need to stop and just focus. So I don't know if it's that's it. And the reason why I say that is because, unlike many diseases, doctors, I should say, like internal medicine doctors, believe that it can't be cured. But there are many cases where people who've had lupus changed their diet, did a raw vegan diet, and within 2 years came off all their medication because the doctors could no longer find the triggers and the markers for lupus. So it's something to be said that, a lot of the reasons why we are sick here in America now, or just anywhere in the world, and why certain sicknesses are hitting us even more so today than they did back in like the 80s or the 90s or even the 70s and 60s, and you can go back as far as whatever, has to do a lot with the food and the way the food is manufactured and produced. Like, nothing that we're eating today, I shouldn't say nothing, but most of the things that we're eating today is all made in a lab. Whether it be all these plant-based foods to get vegans to indulge in these particular things that they used to love, and even regular foods. Like, if you pick up something as simple as ice cream is 4 ingredients: cream, sugar, vanilla bean or whatever flavoring you're going to put, and something else. That's it. That's all ice cream is. But when you pick up a box of ice cream today, you have all these words that you can't even pronounce, so much so that they have you believing like, oh, you need this in your food. And then a lot of it has to do with, yes, keeping foods preserved to last longer, but maybe we shouldn't be having something in our fridge for 7 days. Maybe we should be only buying for 3 days worth of food, eating that, consuming that, and then buying for the next 3 days. Or buying something that's only for the week, and every Friday you're going shopping for the next week. But I don't know. Things like xanthan gum and all these different things, I just feel like, why am I eating that? Like, if I can't make that myself in my house, like, why digest that? Like, why even inhale that in any of my foods? But that's a tangent. So it's been pretty tough just dealing with this every day. There was one day that I actually had a terrible episode where I was in my house and I was just like walking around my bed, and I don't even remember what I was getting, but I was reaching for something. And as I was walking from in between my bed, my knee, I don't know if it brushed up on something or just like touched my chair, but my knee just like gave out. And when I mean gave out, I let out this horrific scream and just, I couldn't even stand up. I just fell to the floor, and I fell so hard that I like hit my, it was, yo, I can't even remember what part of the body it is because my entire body just was hurting right after. And it was so whatever happened to my knee was so bad that when my knee gave out, I couldn't even move. I just had to lay there on my floor and just like wait for the pain to subside, which took about 5-10 minutes. And I was like, thank God it's nothing like dramatic, and I didn't hit my head like on a chair or something and went out unconscious and was bleeding on my floor. But the pain that I had felt and the fact that it just happened so swiftly, I was just like, oh my gosh. The next day I was definitely down for the count. Couldn't go anywhere, couldn't move. My leg was in pain. My whole body was done. And I just had to rest it off. Another thing that happened to me during the course of all this was the fact that I had a couple of days ago, I had, what was I doing? I don't remember what I was doing, but I was doing something, and I literally was just like in pain, and I couldn't figure out why. Like, I didn't do anything the day before. I hadn't fallen. I hadn't hit myself. And when I say hit myself, is because there's a lot of days that I just wake up and my legs are bruised. And I'm just like, what the hell? Did I bump into something? Was I scratching my skin? Did I hit myself in it while I was sleeping? Was I fighting myself in my sleep? I don't know. But I find that I bruise easier now. My legs swell like it's going out of control. Even as I'm sitting here talking to you guys, I'm like, I have to lay down with my legs up just to allow the water that has been retained in my feet to just like drain itself down into the rest of my body. It's so bad going through this, but at the same time, I have so much love and support from my friends and family that I don't dwell on it. I'm always seeing the positive side of it. Just like, positive side of having to go through this is just the fact of eating healthier, feeling healthier while I'm eating healthier. Granted, there's some days that eating healthy is not fun because there's only so much you can do with a smoothie, and packing your smoothie with greens instead of all these sugary things. One other benefit that I've recently realized, and I was telling this to a friend of mine, is that eating so clean now, I can't take sugar. So anytime something has a little bit of sugar in it, it automatically triggers me, and I can taste it and it just tastes nasty to me. So even teas and things like that, I don't put sugar in teas anymore. I don't put sugars in my smoothies. I just use like the bananas and dates to be my sweetener. I even started making my own orange juice. Go figure. As lazy as I am, who would have ever thought that I would be making my own orange juice? And I make it every day fresh. So yeah, so it's just a different lifestyle having this disease in the interim while trying to get everything done. Oh, there was this other thing that I found out, that my medication was actually poisoning me, which is crazy because medication I was taking was actually doing damage. And one of the medications that I'm on now, if I'm on it long term, can even do more damage. And I'm always just so flabbergasted that we have these doctors that are in research and doing all these things. And instead of trying to make a medication perfect, they just make it well enough to make you okay. But then once that medication is good enough, there's another medication you got to take to counteract the side effects of these medications. So you wind up taking 10 medications only because you need one medication. It makes no sense. But that's the world we live in. So for me, I've gone from being on one medication to now being on 4 different ones, and each one does something different. I think 2 of them actually work in combination, but they each do something different. And then the thing about it is that I already have a weakened immune system, so these drugs actually makes my immune system even weaker. So a common cold can send me to the hospital. It doesn't sound fun. So anytime people are sick around me, I'm just like, yo, please let me know when you're sick so I know to stay away from you. And people really think it's a game. Like, I've had people hawking, coughing, sneezing around me, and I'm just like, no consideration. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Thanks. And then I'm out for 2 weeks. So something that should have just had me on my behind for the day and I got over it, or even 3 days and be done, I'm now out for the count for 2 weeks. Thankfully, I haven't had to go to the hospital yet for it, but it is what it is. I've had to have a kidney biopsy because like I said before, my lab results are really, really bad. Kidneys are shot, but there's no need for dialysis yet. And there's no need for dialysis. I'm not going to say yet. But my doctor did say, you may want to start thinking about asking friends and family for a kidney just in case that time ever does come. So praying and, like I said, eating healthy so that time never does come. I'm trying to reach out to other doctors to see if they have another form of way to help, because each doctor treats lupus different or treats a patient differently. So the doctor I'm with now, she may be saying, you need to be on this, and then I can go see another doctor and they're saying, no, you actually don't need to be on this, you need to be on this. And they can give me a totally different form of treatment. So I am all ears at this moment. I do realize, and I should have probably said this in the beginning, that I'm terrible when it comes to taking medication. There's some times that I'm just like, good. A couple months straight, I'm taking it every single day. And then it'll just be that one day that I'll probably wake up late because I have to take my meds in the morning. So I may wake up late and be like, I'm not going to take them today. I'm going to take them tomorrow morning. And then I don't take them today, and then I forget tomorrow morning. And then by Thursday, I look around and it's like, dang, I didn't take any medication for today, for this week. And so I'm doing a lot better at that. I'm trying to. So how has this affected the other areas of my life? I know that this is just this podcast is about me and my friends, actually, those that come on and guest. And let me just make a plug. If you would love to be a guest on my show, please email me, text me, call me, friends, family. And if you're neither a friend or family, you can just email us at itsbalanceinsanity@gmail.com. That is itsbalanceinsanity@gmail.com. I'm definitely going to find a shorter email. But anyway, the way this has affected me in my other areas, my mental is fine as of right now. Oh, one thing before I go into that. The other thing that I really hate about this is that I'm trying to figure out which one of my medication is doing it, but some one of them is causing me to have high blood pressure. And with high blood pressure comes the swelling. So the swelling could be a part of that. And then there's also this, like, you can hear your heart beating in your ear, which sucks. There's sometimes when, like, the room is really, really quiet and I'm not moving or anything, and I'm fine. Soon as I turn or I lift my head or I make some kind of gesture, I'm now hearing my heart beating in my ear. And it's so annoying because I'm like, yo, I used to have a heart rate so low, but being sick comes a slew of other things. Like, I had chronic bowel syndrome or something like that. I've had upper respiratory infection. I've had a stomach virus for like a whole month. I've had joint pains. Uh, I've had a rash come out of nowhere one time. Hair falling out. It's just a plethora of things, but still hopeful, even with all that. But anyway, how does this affected my life in other areas? I think so far so good. Like I said, year one was tough. I definitely cried a lot because I was just like, why God? Why me? I was healthy yesterday and today I'm sick and it's not good in a good way. I think interacting with people, I feel like I'm more empathetic. I was going to say sympathetic, but I'm actually more empathetic. Like, I'll listen to you. I still may give you that dumb look like I don't get it, but I'll listen and I'll console, especially when needed. I try to laugh more. I try to be more patient. I'm not always great at it. Sometimes I just want to retort to people just like, leave me alone, or give them these answers of just because I want to be left alone. And it's not nothing that they're doing. It's just I just want to be left alone, and you're not taking my silence as a indication that I want to be left alone. And sometimes I snap at people. I've lost so much weight. I'm down. I started at 140. I'm down now to 118, and that's due to sickness and eating. So yeah, so it's just a lot. My mom makes fun of me all the time. She calls me Skinny Minnie now. That's her name for me. I laugh because it is funny, because I've definitely slimmed down a whole lot. I think to tie this all back into what this show is actually about, when it comes to dating, I'm not in the mindset to date. And it is because of my condition. Because one, I'm thinking now, because stress is a trigger, supposedly, for my condition, and I don't want to have added stress to going through this. So can you just imagine having to do all your everything else and then have the stress of a boyfriend on top of all the other stresses that you may or may not have? So for me, I'm very low stress. So I think that's because of my sign. I let a lot of things just like roll off my shoulders. If I blow up, it's because whatever I'm blowing up at because of or for is like really, really important to me, and I'm blowing up. But most times I try to let things, especially now, I try to let things just like roll off my shoulder. If I can't really do nothing about it or change it, I'm gonna just let it be. Whatever. I'm not gonna there's no point in me getting mad, because that does nothing for me or you. So yeah, so I try to not allow stress in. And so I find dating would definitely make things more stressful for me. Especially dating in this era. It is not what it used to be. People don't date with purpose. I need personally a deeper connection than just that. And that takes a lot of work. And to do that type of work and to pay attention to my health, I can't do both right now. And then I also don't want the pity party. I don't want the sympathies. I don't want the, oh babe, how you doing today? Is everything okay? Da 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 da. And then this person's like now babying me, and I'm like, yo, just let me be. I've been independent for so long. I don't need you to come behind me to make sure everything is cool, copacetic, and like I'm like, yeah, check up on me like you would in a regular relationship, but don't be doing anything extra because I'm sick. So I find like I'm in that place, and then there's some days that I just don't feel pretty, honestly. Like, I'll wake up, my face is swollen, and I'm just like, I don't look like myself today, nor do I feel pretty, so I don't care. So I'm going to put on these baggy jeans, put on this hoodie, go out in the street. Granted, that's what I would wear any day, but you could just tell by my demeanor that I really don't care about what I put on. So much so that my mom and my sister have definitely made mention of the fact, like, I need to go clothes shopping because I look very just like thrown together with like no care in the world. All my clothes are too big for me. They don't have no shape. I look like a little kid. And I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I'm literally to that point where I have stopped thinking about everything else around me, because if I start to think about it, I feel like I'll get sad. And there's some days that I definitely, I'm feeling myself and just like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling myself. But then I look at my legs, or I look at my face, or I look at my stomach, and I'm just like, no, I'm not feeling it today. And then I go back into my comfortable wear. Wearing heels is another thing I don't really do anymore. Have a ton of heels, but they can't fit on my feet. And when they can, I haven't walked in them for so long that it starts to hurt when I'm out for too long. 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, I'm like, oh, I'm ready to take these bad boys off. What else? I'm trying to think of anything else. Work, work is okay. The people that I work for are very sympathetic to my health. So when I'm just like, I can't do it today, they're just like, okay, no problem, just work from home. So they're very sympathetic from that. And then the fact of just like, working for yourself. You have the freedom to work when you want to work, not work at all if you don't want to work. Work as many hours as you want to work. So if there's some days where I can bust out a good 12 hours, I'm gonna bust out a good 12 hours. If there's some days that I can only do one, I'm doing that one with no qualms, no nothing. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so that's what has been happening in a brief, quick synopsis. Um, is there anything else to update you on as far as dating? I feel like no. Oh, yeah, there is. So, in talking about dating and just being sick, it's definitely hard to date when you can't find yourself attractive. And I'm not the one to doll myself up. I'm not a makeup person. I'm not beating my face. I'm looking regular. I'm looking normal. I'm going to look how I look. And this is all it is. Like, the way you see me is what you're going to see me as when you go to sleep at night and when you wake up in the morning. It's not going to be two different people. No, it's going to be the same person, same hair. And you're going to be like, this is the girl that I slept next to last night. You won't be shocked. So if I can't find myself attractive to that point where I'm comfortable in going to sleep in my regular skin and waking up next to you in my normal skin, I can't come to the table expecting you to give me something that I'm not willing to give you, if that makes sense. Yeah, I want you to accept me because I love my comfortable wear, like my basketball shorts and my wife beaters and having my hair back. Like, I love to be like that. And yes, I want you to accept me like that. But I don't want us to go out on a date and that's what I'm wearing and then say, yo, this is what you got to accept because this is how I'm feeling and this is how I feel every day all of a sudden. No, that's not right. That's not cool. Like, I got to be bringing something to the table if I'm expecting you to bring something to the table. There's also the fact of just, being in a place of being ready to date. And I'm not there anymore. I was even telling my friend today, I don't even know if I want to get married anymore. And this has less to do with my sickness than anything. It's just listening to people around me that are in relationships, that are dating, that are married, that are looking to get married. And just like hearing like what they're going through and their frustrations and me trying to understand where they're coming from and seeing where they're coming from for some of the instances and just like, damn. But when y'all were dating, it was just beautiful. Like I wanted to aspire. That inspired me for what I want my relationship to look like. And then for y'all to be fighting or breaking up or not doing well or just, in your own separate corners living life as a married couple or as people dating and can't communicate and just can't deal with each other, but for the sake of appearances are just like, we're going to stay together. Yeah, that more than anything has definitely hindered me from wanting to date or just like wanting to put myself out there because it's like, one, I'm just fine. the men that are out there now, or not out there now because they've always been out there, but the men that are single and ready to mingle are playing games. There's men out here that are very into themselves where they feel they must be catered to. Like, if you're not doing the most for them, it's like, oh, how dare you? And it's like, but what are you doing? What are you bringing to the table that you have such high standards for yourself? Like, I'm here in Dior, like, decked out, Louis Vuittons, the whole nine, multi-million-dollar put together, and you're coming out in Old Navy. Like, what? Nah. Not to say that I'm all about labels, but just to give you a visual, like, that's not happening. Yeah, so it's just a lot happening these days with me. I probably sound very nasally, and it's because I don't know what's happening. I've been trying to kick this, whatever this is, for the last, I want to say, week and a half. And it's been coming in waves. So there's some days that I'm good, some days that I'm not. And this is what I sound like now. But yeah, outside of that, I don't think there's anything else to update you on. This year, though, I do think that I'm going to start recording more and just giving you the raw footage, and not even footage, but the raw recording instead of editing it. Of course, I would edit out like the background noises, but as far as like conversations and the mistakes, I think I want to leave those in and just see how you guys react to it. Please let me know what your thoughts are, how you feel about it. If you're just like, Monica, this sounds like crap, please do away with it. Please edit the crap out of these things. I'll definitely do it because you are the listeners and I want you to enjoy it. If you like hearing all the stuff in the mix, the mixing and the chatterings and whatnot, then hey, let me know and I'll leave them in there as well. I still hope to produce a new podcast every Tuesday, and I'm gonna try to do it every week, even if it's just me. Because there's some days that I wake up and I'm like, oh, I want to record, and then I get busy doing something else, and then by the time I look around, I'm just like, I'm not in the mood, or I don't want to record, or I just think about the headache of having to edit, and I'm just like, never mind. But I do want to do that, and I also want to have my roundtable, trying to do it in person. Really, really trying to do it in person. We shall see. And I do hope it goes well because I want to give you guys more content as far as dating, life in general, because there's so much happening around us these days that, we just need to talk about it, clear the air, and just get things off our chest. And what better way than through a podcast, right? At least I think so. But I think I've talked for enough. Like I said, I wanted to keep this short. I love you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I think I might do a couple of more venting sessions like this and just call it The Vent. And yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys thought. If you have any questions about lupus, me in general, or just like what's been happening with me, please email me, let me know, and I'll definitely answer them. It's been another episode of Balance and Sanity with your girl, Monica. Have a great one.